lie. I be rolling with you, mommy, I be feeling the motion. When I'm inside you, I be deep as the ocean. When it comes to your love, can't lie, it be strong as a potion. That's why me and you forever be coasting. Let's roll. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah, she so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. Co-pilot.
Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome to another one, man. I'm your boy, man, Rob One, man, and this is Sparking Conversation, yo. Well, y'all know what I do. Each and every week, I get up here and I talk to some of the world's most interesting people. And tonight is none other than that again, yo. You know what I'm saying? I got a young brother in the building. We're gonna talk about something that I feel like is important. You know, I was kind of thankful how I ran across this brother, right? Because you know, a lot of people, they don't understand the power of networking, right? Networking equals your net worth. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Like, the more that you're able to reach out to people and not act like you better than, you're able to get more things done. In other words, you know how the great saying goes, you know, closed mouth don't get fed. And that's how it works. So my man put it out there that he wanted to get on somewhere where he could tell his story. And based on his story that he broke down, transition from Freemasonry on over to what he felt like helped him to save his life, you know what I mean, his family. So I thought, like, yo, what better way to have another brother like that on the show? Because a lot of times when it comes down to things like religion, a lot of people don't like to have the conversation. Why? Because they want to argue. See, this is the platform not for that. Like, if anyone want to come on here, this is not a platform for arguing. You know, like, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a conversation. That's why the name of the joint is called Sparking Conversation, because that's what we want to do. And then yeah, I'm gonna ask the questions, but yo, we want to know. Right? So beyond that, before I get into that and before I bring my guest on, let's just talk about a few things like we do each and every show, right? First off, I want to thank each and every person that downloads the audio version of this podcast, because y'all the real MVPs and y'all all over the world, and I definitely appreciate y'all. Shout out to Belgium. Belgium is starting to pick up. Like, y'all really starting to download the audio versions of this podcast, and I really thank y'all, man, because that's super dope, you know? And so thank y'all. And then on top of that, just thank everybody who watch all the playbacks, right? And then people who go out there and watch the clips too. You know, the shorts that's on, or the reels, however you want to call it, you know, on Facebook, especially on Fanbase. Shout out to all of y'all that's on Fanbase. Y'all know Fanbase is a minority-owned social media platform. It's fairly new. It's been a few years that's been around, but they got over about 700,000 members right now, or people that's on it. It's free to join, just like any other social media platform. The only difference is, and I'm not paid to market and promote it, but you know, like I said, this is the platform where we give out the information. I'm not a gatekeeper, right? The more people that's on there, the more that we can get off. So over on Fanbase, you know, they have a certain type of setup that's real different. Now, you can compare them to like Facebook. You can compare them to Instagram. You can compare them to TikTok in so many instances. But for the most part, they have a whole bunch of other different options that all the other social media platforms don't allow. And not only that, they're one of the, just like X, they're more freedom of speech. Like, you can get that off over there. Why? It's because they don't allow advertisers on the platform, which means that you don't have big company, big pharma, big bank, and all these other people who pay to suppress certain information, like on Facebook and, you know, all these other platforms. That's what they do. That's why every time, you know, for me personally, I know that my stuff gets suppressed for the most part, because I have real people on here talking that real. And you got to think about it. You know, when you're in the business of helping people, that's the stuff they want you to see less, right? Because they don't want you to show no humanity. They want to show war. They want to show anger. They want to show twerking. They want to show everything that got to do with anything besides anything that's going to help people. They don't want to show that. So that's why I encourage, first of all, if you come on the show, like and subscribe to the page, or like and subscribe to us on YouTube, right? All right, boom. Make sure y'all do that. All of y'all that watch the clips, just share them. People that be on the show, when I drop it, because I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do for you. I don't just have people come on the show. We go live, and then I put up the videos, and that's it. Now, I help market and promote you when you don't market and promote you. So if you really want your story to get out there, then take advantage of the fact that you got somebody who's not only recording you, allowing you to give it off and introduce you to the audience, and also is putting you on social media platform, which we know that's the quickest way for any information to get out. As far as Twitter X is concerned or whatever, y'all know if y'all want to know anything, you go there first because it goes there first. News drops there first from everywhere. So just remember that. I bet. So another thing, I want to make sure that y'all remember. If y'all know how I say, click the links in the description because all of the people whose links are in the description are all good looking out, right? They're all the good things that'll help you. So shout out to mine, man. Don't forget if you guys feel blah, if your equilibrium been off, or if you've been feeling like, yo, I don't know how I'm gonna make it through the day. If you've been dealing with depression, if you've been dealing with anxiety, yo, you got something to help you out. The makers of mine, man, I'm trying to tell y'all, they got the product for y'all. So I want y'all to click on the link in the description and go learn more about it, right? Boom. Next thing, the stocks. Don't forget, Webull, partners of Webull, giving away free stocks. There's no excuse for you guys to get into the business of investing right now. If you don't understand something, then why not get something for free? Learn that which they was giving you, whether it's making money or losing. Either way, it doesn't hurt you any, right? But it helps you if it gains money, right? Because they give it to you. Now, it's random stocks that they give you, right? But it could be the top stock down to the lowest one. But either way it go, you won't know unless you in there. But being in there is how you get to the next level. So don't forget, there are free stocks out there. The Webull link is in the description of this video. So make sure y'all click on that, man, and get to it. Just remember, don't be one of the people that's going to wait until you lose and need to go look before then, because you know how that goes. It's always harder to find something when you need it, right? But when you don't need it and you really out there working and you searching, you put that out there, then you get it back. I guess that's what they call fishing, right? That's what they call fishing. I bet. So this is what we get ready to do, because look, listen, tonight's show is something different because, like I say, a lot of people don't like to talk about religion because most people argue about religion. Wait, hold on. Before I get into that, the presidential debate just popped off, right, last week. And I want to just say a few things because, based on a couple of things I posted myself on social media, I got some responses. And one of them was from a young lady who was saying, like, listen, yeah, Joe Biden did terrible. Yeah, I don't believe that he's really fit to run the country, but I'm going to vote for him anyway, right? And then she was saying, I'm going to vote for him anyway because I ain't voting for the felon. And then I really thought about that. Then I really understood what control and, programming really has done to us as a people. Because they are not paying attention to nothing that this administration has done, more so than they just paying attention to the fact that if somebody don't like us because of our skin color. I still don't understand why that's the most important thing to us as a group of people, for us to be worried about who don't like us because of our skin color. Ain't none of us that was born by, no matter how you want to was choose to be born a certain skin color. It ain't like you laid down and you chose like, yo, or it came about some type of way where this is who you are. So the fact that we still allow that to be our main emotion trigger, that we worried about somebody not liking us or using a racist card, or now they talking about felons. And then for me, like, I'm not taking up for the homie. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not taking up for Trump. I wouldn't be the person sit up here to be taking up for none of them in the political realm, because to be honest with you, we in the same position that we always been in. I don't really think it's their fault. I think that really lies on us because we the ones that don't own industry. We spend all the money in all the industry. We fund all the industries. Like, we the ones that look the richest. Like, when people look at us and our culture, we the ones that look like we got the most money because we wear the most designer. We wear the most jewelry. We drive the hottest cars. We got the biggest homes, right? That's what we do. So we look the richest, but in actuality, we the ones that own the least of everybody that lives over here on this little piece of the planet, right? We own the least amount, but we look the most wealthy. And that's the image that everybody likes to run around with when it looks like us. We want to look so that way. That's why people are so blindly just going to give up their vote to a person who is literally on the edge of World War III. And I don't think people really understand like the severity of that, right? You know, the homie Putin over there, fam, was like, yo, listen, y'all don't come over here in our backyard. We made this agreement man long ago. Y'all signed on it. Y'all said y'all wasn't going to do it. Just hold y'all end of the bargain. It's all love. And I'll be over here chilling. I'll pull my people out of Ukraine in the whole nine. But the fact that they still like, nah, fuck that. We going to do what we want to do anyway. Forget the agreement we made. That sounds just like the same thing that happened to the indigenous people here, right? What happened with all the treaties and all the things that happened here? It's the same thing. So if you guys don't understand that it's the same mindset, it's the same spirit of those people that's running our government over here, that's allowing the same thing to happen over there, it's the same people. Like, yeah, those ain't the same people literally, but it's the same spirit. Think about it. It's the same teachings, right? It's the same thing. They doing the same thing that they did to the people over here. First of all, they came over here and told the people thank you for teaching us how to live over here. Then they killed everybody. That's Thanksgiving. Remember, every year people get together and celebrate Thanksgiving, but like they don't know what the meaning of Thanksgiving is or what happened on Thanksgiving or what that same night. After they fed all these people and had this Thanksgiving festival that now everybody uses it as a means and they make so much money. It's another retail holiday out here. And that's the main one that we use to get together with our family because it involves food. But then when you really think about it at the end of the day, yeah, it involves food and family and coming together. But then at the end of that night, remember when those people would sleep, what happened to them? And then for the people that was further out that they wasn't connected to, they bought the blankets with the bomb in them. You know what I'm saying? They brought the disease with it. So get rid of all of them. So then what I'm saying to y'all is that we are a group of people that really walks around blindly to the fact of just the fact of because if somebody don't like us based on our skin color. We've allowed racism to be the number one blinder of our community when we should be understanding that it's a person that looks like us that'll do more harm to us quicker than there's any other person out here. The person that look like you is the person that'll hurt you the quickest. You think about it. There should never be nowhere in America where black people can't go. I don't care what ghetto it is. You should be able to survive in every ghetto. You know why? Because you grow up in the same circumstances. But the people that are going to hurt you the worst be the people who look like you, not the people who don't. And I know we get into the whole bag of when it comes to the police and what they do, but we understand that the police, it's just like a gang. They don't give a damn about skin color as far as how they roll. They roll based on the color of their uniform. That's how they all get down. They all roll together. Whether they got the same skin color of mine as or anybody else, they all responsible for unaliving people. So we can't really look at racism from that particular spectrum because it goes all the way up when it comes to the judicial system. But we talking about just average, everyday, walking around here, opportunity. None of these people are holding us back from owning anything. The only people holding us back is us. Like I said, we look the richest. We look the most wealthy. But we the ones that don't own anything. Some people own their crib. I bet. Salute to you. Some people got a barbershop, a salon. I salute to you. Some people got a truck. Some people got a salute to you. But at the end of the day, we don't own the industry. You know what I'm saying? We don't own the industry. How? How can we not own fashion? We the ones that's responsible for everything that's dealing with fashion. But then at the end of the day, we don't own no fashion. Like we don't own it. Like we don't own it. Like, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's a lot of things that I be looking at. Like, I don't understand it. Like, I think people need to be paying attention to policy more than they need to worry about what a person does in his personal thing. Like, because it's mad people that's felons, and it's mad people that's felons that ain't never been caught. They still criminals. So I don't understand the thing, man. I'm not with it. Like I said, critical thinking is something that's been hurting us for the longest because people are not allowed to think. They think that somebody's supposed to think for them. And by all means, do what you do. But like I said, at the end of the day, if you don't change the way nobody coming to save you. How about that? I'm not even going to talk about the change of the mindset. I'm just saying you got to save yourself. So I don't care who you gonna stand in line for in November. You still got to be responsible after you leave there and before you go there to change your own scenario. And there's so much industry for us to own still in order to change our financial situation. So I don't want to hear nobody coming up with all this corny shit about no, ain't nothing left. The jobs, the industry, they lying. With the power of AI, we should be already in think tanks getting together, building industry because they still need it. They need people to work this AI. So what y'all doing? Y'all don't want to learn about it? Stop playing. I'm not even with it. So look, I got my guest in the background. I'm about to bring him on. I'm about to bring the homie Arthur in the building. I'm gonna bring him up because, like I said, tonight's show is gonna be very interesting. Most people don't want to talk about religion, right? Unless they arguing about it. This is not the platform for arguing. We want to give this brother an opportunity to tell his story because he transitioned from one religion or one belief or even, well, into a lot of ways, people think that it was just maybe a group that he transferred from over into what he felt like was his religious base that helped him to change his life. And like I said, he was able to save him and his family. So we want to give him the opportunity to speak on it because in order for you to be in a place where you are saving something, you had to be in a place where something was dangerous. So we got to figure out in that aspect because people don't believe that religion is dangerous, and it very very much so is. We got to think about it. I could go into a whole different thing, but it's like, yo, do people really want the history of the things that they actually say they're going to join? Most people don't want the history of it. They want to say it's not like that anymore. All right, bet. All right, cool. But at the end of the day, you can't say that this is not what it is. Anything that had to be forced on people ain't for people. But hey, and, who am I, right? So look, I'm about to bring the homie up. I'm gonna let him introduce himself, and we're gonna jump right in. Yo, let's see what's going on in his world. Yo, all right, what's up, man? I think your mic muted, brother.
Yeah, what's going on? What's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Ain't nothing good, man. Good to have you on the platform for real,
Good to be
man.
here.
Yeah, facts. I bet. So this is what I want you to do, man. I want you to introduce yourself to the audience, and I want you to tell them the reason why you're on the platform tonight.
Yeah, so what's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Art and Mitch, aka Mr. I Am. I'm on the platform tonight just to tell my story, how I went from the lodge to the pulpit, talking about, how the enemy had me to believe that I was in an organization where it was about God, it's about biblical principles, to understanding that it was a dark side to it, and they allowed me to go from that to understanding who God really was and ministering to God and working in ministry with God, allowed me now to speak to different men and different people about, how to go through things in life by seeking God first. I didn't see God first. I went into it seeking validations. I went into it, man, just thought it was a brotherhood or organization. But then when I get into it, I see there's a dark side to it. And I got to the highest point. I'm just here to tell my story, man, and help somebody out that even thinking about it aren't in it. To seek God first and see what God tell you.
Gotcha. And you said a lot right then and there because that was very important. First of all, the point that you made was the fact that, you were seeking validation. And I think for us as young black men that we go through life not understanding how important validation is for us, right? Because then again, people keep telling us, yo, if you do good, you don't get rewarded. That's what you're supposed to do. But people don't mind thrashing you when you do something wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't mind giving you that energy. But they feel like when you do something good, you're not supposed to get that energy because you're supposed to do good.
Exactly.
And I don't like that because at the point that you just said, it forces us to have to go seek validation in other places. And like you said, so what we want to do is we want to first talk about what that brotherhood was. What I mean? We want to give it a title. So what was the brotherhood or the group that you joined that you had to learn had a dark side?
Yeah, so the brotherhood was Freemasonry.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
All right. So with Freemasonry, there's a lot of history that goes on with Freemasonry, right? Probably more history than we'll have time to talk about tonight, right? But I do want to encourage the people that are watching right now and those of you that's going to watch the playback. I want you guys to really look up Freemasonry and start from the origin of it. You know, it's always cool to give any search engine the direct prompts that you're looking for. I would say go to the origins of Freemasonry, right? All right, bet. So for you, Art, I want you to tell everybody from your standpoint. First of all, was there something before I get into that question? Was there something in your life that was going on that made you seek out Freemasonry, or was it introduced to you by people that you knew?
That's a good question, but like you said that, so going a little bit back to my story of how I got to this point. So I grew up with an eye disease called keratoconus, and with how it's left me visually impaired for 27 years. So
Wow.
I dealt with bullying, dealt with rejection. There was so much. So growing up, I was seeking validation because I wasn't getting it from people. I wasn't getting no kind of interest in who I was. People wouldn't pick me for this, wouldn't do this and that. So I feel like an outcast. So
Right.
growing up, all of my childhood to teenage to adulthood, I was trying to fit in, trying to be a part of something, a part of somebody that's gonna help, bring me out, show who I am, give me the attention, give me the validation of no, you're a good person, and you part of that, you can do this and do that. So that led me to curiosity. Want to really and I saw Freemasonry a lot, saw the things they did, and that what really gravitated me to want to become one when I was a teenager, but didn't really have the feel of who to ask about it because I was still still learning, still looking at the way they're going. So it was not a red flag in the beginning, but still. I was curious. I want to be one that they look good. They done a community service. They done so much stuff, and I was to the point where I said, well, okay, once opportunity came, I went to him and asked him. I said, I want to be a Mason. So application process come, and that's when everything started.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, you know what? But that's the same. You know, it's just that you made a choice of which organization you wanted to join, right? But I think that's the same process for most of us that grow up a certain way, right? Like, most people will gravitate to a gang just based off of that thought process, right?
Yeah.
Because they've been bullied, they've been picked on, they've been rejected, they haven't been, accepted for who they are, and then they join the people who seem like they are the coolest, and then that comes with that, right? Or I remember there was a lot of guys growing up that I grew up with who had good families, had their mother and father in their house. They bought them everything they wanted, but they still gravitated to the street hustlers, and they decided that they wanted to do that. They wound up getting in all kind of trouble and stuff because technically, that wasn't for them, but they did it anyway because it made them fit in. It gave them validation. So I hope people that's watching us tonight, and if any single moms or whatever out there have a young boy, I want them to pay attention to what validation really means. It goes a long way. It keeps us from going to seek it in places that we will pass the red flag just to get the pat. You know what I mean? So let's talk about this for a minute, right? You said that growing up it kind of put you in a position just based on all the things you were dealing with to where you wanted to seek validation. Then when you got the opportunity, you did. So what was, as far as the validation that you were seeking and all of those things like that, how did you get connected with Freemasonry though? Like, did you learn about it a little bit, or was there somebody that you finally got near or reached out to on your own?
Gotcha. So even with the validation part, it just little small things I should do to be even what you were saying about I have a mother and father in my household, but I didn't. I was still felt left out because the kids may had this, or kids did that, kids did that. So I gravitated, even gravitated curious about the gangs and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't go all the way through them
Right.
like I wanted, but like I wanted to. So growing up, I seen the organization. And my dad is an Omega, so I grew up, man, like loving college sororities. I mean, excuse me, college fraternities and
Right.
sororities. So I grew up in that, but I never were able to chance to get that. So when I saw my neighbor back home was a Mason, so I saw it and looked at it, but then never asked no questions. So ended up moving to Raleigh in 2010. I saw it again, looked at it, talked about it to people, but never really fulfilled it. So 2020, I just moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, and we went to a back to school drive. So I saw, you know what? Now's my opportunity. I see them out here. They got the coats on. They cooking. They're cooking the food for the charity drive. So they're doing some good things. So I went to them. I said, I'm gonna go through it. I went to them, asking for it. Then the application came. Like I said, it started from there. So I was looking at them. I was looking at fraternities and all that anyway. But I never went through the HBCU doing a fraternity. So when I saw them, I was like, I want to be a part of something. I want to be a part of some kind of brotherhood. So I kept seeing them. I was fascinated, man, with the emblems and all that kind of stuff, and the coat and the chains and the rings. So I said, no, let me see what they're about. Let me see how can I get in that, be a part of something that I thought was be beneficial to me.
Gotcha. And with those things, did you feel like the thing that attracted you the most was the imagery of what they perceived to be, just like what they look like you said, not necessarily their physical appearance, but just how they look like they were organized, and like you said, all the things that they put together to make you understand that they are a group that all represent the same thing, right? And I think about that a lot when it comes to us as men, right? I feel like we need that type of. I think that's where brotherhood should like stem from, right? Not necessarily whether we doing it from a place where it involves anything negative, but the fact that we can represent each other, right, in a way that when a person looks at us, it inspires them. Because technically you was inspired by the the camaraderie of what brotherhood is. That's why you looked at so many different things throughout the course of your life. But then now when it comes down to what can I do, right? You said the HBC thing didn't work out for you, so the fraternity wasn't going to be a route, even though you grew up in it understanding what a secret society is, because Freemasonry will be considered a secret society, or what you think? More
it's considered a secret society. Definitely.
All right. So with the fraternities and sororities and a bunch of other different things, even when it comes down to the Illuminati and all these other things, these are considered secret societies, right? And all of them, to be honest, have a remnant of each other in them. And that's what makes it difficult. That's what made me not want to be interested in it, right? Because of that factor. It was like, well, damn, all of them have a bit and piece of each other in it. And that part of it that they have that all makes them connected is the part that is the most sinister, if it makes sense. So let's talk about that for a little bit. Whenever you got introduced to it in a way where you was like, yo, this is something I can do, and you got the application, were you like, did you talk with family or friends or anybody about it before you went along with it, or did you just fill out the application and went straight ahead 1,000%?
It's funny because I talked to I used to bug my wife about it all the time, like, being a Mason, and she had uncles that was all Masons, so she knew the process and knew what was going to happen, knew all kind of stuff. But again, I kept begging, I want to do something. So I did my little research, but at that time, I'm like, okay, I understand that they're not going to be me. You're not going to do none of that. I just want to get, because like I said, the camaraderie of how they look. They were cooking the food for the people. They were laughing, giving out book bags. They were like a real brotherhood that was connected together in unity.
Gotcha.
So I really didn't mention nobody but just her. But so she ended up saying, okay, go ahead, because at that time I was bugging her so much, and she knew what could have happened, but she didn't think it was going to happen.
Gotcha. So when it comes down to Freemasonry and the way that is set up, it's set up in levels and degrees, right? Is it just degrees?
It's this degree levels and degrees basically. Yeah, levels and degrees.
Levels and degrees. Okay. So how far would you say that you got in Freemasonry before you decided to go the other way?
I was at the highest level. I was 32nd.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was up there. I say I was deep in there. I was deep. I on points. I was almost as a shrine. I was at the 32nd, and next level and phase was in shrine.
Oh
So I,
wow.
I, I was all, I was all, I was up the ladder.
Wow. All right. So for the people who may not know what the shrine is, let's break that down for them real quick. What if that's is the shrine the highest level you can get to, or is there a level above that?
So it's a level above the shrine, but shrine like the Mystery Nobles, dealing with Egyptians and hieroglyphics and things, and dealing with the Egyptian temple and being in the desert. But the highest of all, because to be a shrine, you don't have to be a mason, but you have to be a mason to be a shrine. Which to me it was kind of confusing. But no, if you're a mason, you can be a shrine, but you got to be a shrine to be a mason. But the highest level is the 33rd,
Right.
and that's where it gets deep, deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so at that particular point, at the 32nd, is where you said that you got to that level. So in between the levels up until the 32nd, I know you said earlier that there were some red flags that you were getting, but you overlooked them to keep going. Now, did these red flags come really early, or did they come the further you got up the ladder, but you were too far up to kind of let those red flags affect you?
So majority of came on once I got in, and I would like to say I was so fascinated by the knowledge, because it's so when you first start out, it's three levels. It's the as you kind of you come into the apprentice, fellow craft, and master mason. That's the first 3 degrees. And when you come a master mason, then you actual full mason. And that's the
Gotcha.
thing. I got in there, not thought about no. Once I go to initiation, I'm already mason, but it was levels to it, degrees to it. So in the 3rd degree, you actually master mason. So that's when the red flags came. I was going through the initiation, seeing, but the red flag really came when I was doing initiation, when I was doing it with somebody else. So so I was in it then. I'm doing so I done got through it. So now I'm doing somebody else. I look over because I'm good. I done this, so I'm gonna keep on going because I'm already set my time in that degree and that degree. So no, it doesn't bother me because I see it through them, but I'm gonna keep on going.
Gotcha. But then you starting to see how you were doing it to other people, the same thing that they've done to you. That's when the conviction started coming in. So what level? All right. So at the Master Mason is the 3rd level, right? Is what you just said. So, but you got all the way up to the 32nd. So that's like 30 more joints after that. So what when you started? Okay, so past that part that you got right there, at what part that you decided that the red flags were I'm just gonna keep going?
So honestly, when I became a master mason, in a sense that it is the highest degree because you don't have to get other degrees. It was optional, but to get more knowledge and like I actually would say to seek more light, you get other degrees. So once I got that and I'm able to wear my rings, my necklaces, my coats and stuff, that's when I overlook everything. Like I'm in there now, I'm in deep. The reading the books, the knowledge that I thought was knowledge and different things. I'm in there. I'm master mason now, so I'm a full mason. So I'm in there.
Right, right. So then it wasn't no more red flags at that point. You felt like you've achieved. You actually went through something and you got there and you achieved. So let's clear up a few misconceptions that they say about Masonry because in Freemasonry, what has been told is that as a black Freemason, you are not privy to as much information as a white Freemason is when it comes down to the certain degrees once you get to a certain part. Is that any truth to that, or is there the same knowledge passed on no matter what your skin color is?
So it's the same knowledge no matter what skin color. But what happened was the white Freemasonries didn't have a black Freemasonry, so there's one black guy that created it and allowed other black men to become Freemasonry. So it goes from York Rite to Scottish Rite. So York Rite was originally supposed to be just men, and Scottish Rite supposed to be men. But what happened once you come to a certain level, you got to cross over to Scottish Rite to get the rest of your degrees. And that's where Prince Hall and Scottish Rite come in. It's two different organizations, but the same. We're all the Masons.
Gotcha. And in order for you to go up the degrees, you pretty much got to be a person that's mastered both.
Yeah, you got. Yeah, you got. So once you come in your Rite, but if you are already Scottish Rite, you don't have to cross over. But if you York Rite, you have to cross over.
Gotcha.
So you got to intertwine with Nick, the fourth to 32nd degrees on the Scottish Rite side. So once you become a Master Mason and get to the fourth degree, then you crossing over to the York to the Scottish Rite. But then this when levels go up.
Gotcha. And so the black guy that was responsible for creating the version of Masonry that allowed black people to come in, what was his name?
Honestly, I forgot his name. I should have looked up. I forgot who he was, but trying to think.
But no, we could look him up. His name. The name slipped me. It was right on my mind before I actually asked you the question. But let's see. Because the reason why I feel like that's important is because that guy, his writings and stuff like that were like things that a lot of people, they make movies and all other kind of things after him. And if I'm not mistaken, one of the more popular recent things that they did with him was Lovecraft. And what's his name? Hold on, let's see. Yeah, we live, y'all, and this is what we do because we want to make sure we give y'all the right information. All right. And because the names, it's so many different names, which is more, it's not going to be something that is going to pull right up. And as far as like when it comes to Google, it's going to take a little bit more. So I'm going to make sure that we get that information because like you just said, when it comes down to that, they're going to pull up, the Prince Hall and all that other stuff. So you got to get through all that before it actually gives you that information.
Exactly. And a lot of stuff that I had that when I denounced it, I asked God to take away from me. So some I don't know, some I do know because when he took it from me, like I try to wipe all this stuff out of my mind. So I know the premise of it, but for the original first Black Mason, I honestly forgot who it was.
Oh no, it's cool because like you said, you ask for certain things and then when it happened, we can't be mad when it happened when we asked for it, right?
Yeah.
Right. So here's the thing. So with that being said, in the whole premise of Freemasonry, right? We know, like we said, we established that it was a secret society, and but for a person to denounce it, that means that they had to come across something that changed either their life or changed, their thought process based on somebody else's life that they've actually been able to witness. So for you, what was that defining moment that made you say, okay, now I got this far, but this ain't for me? Because you only have one more level to go. So what was the defining moment that made you be like, nah, I gotta let this go?
Got you. So when I was in, I was at the 32nd. So a lot of things began to happen in the process. So as you all know, we have Eastern Star sisters as our sisters, and when I was in it, a lot of things happened. End up meeting one of the sisters, whatever, and things began to get like an intimate situation. So at that moment, that began to happen with infidelity and stuff. But also, I was denying God. When I prayed at night, I wasn't saying God's name. I was listening to what they say about other gods, because one of the biggest things is, as a Mason, you can believe in any God as long as it's a higher power. You can believe in it. So it could be Buddha, Allah, whoever it was. You can believe in that because they call it the great architect of the universe. So basically, whatever higher power you believe in, you can become one. So that was my thing. I said, okay, I'm a Christian. I believe in God. So I was good, but not knowing they believe in other gods. And even in the initiation, we would have the Bible at the altar, but we have our cross. We have an emblem. They would have the emblem and stuff on the Bible. So, and when it was time for back then when I was in it, go through the thing, we got to kiss the Bible. So it was an indication of we telling God, man, we're not worried about who you are. We just gonna be representing the G that's in the middle and what it means to seek the light, but we wasn't seeking God's light because that was very culture for us to put the emblem on the Bible, knowing it was demonic and it meant something different than what the actual biblical principles was.
Gotcha.
So that was a couple of red flags. But two, I was actually online to be a shrine. I was online to be a shrine after I got my 37 because it happened so quick. In 1 year, I got all my degrees in 1 year. So the next was shrine. So I was online to be a shrine. Now it started getting darker then because we started going to Egyptian, the hieroglyphics and Kemetic and different African culture things that wasn't of God. So I was in it. And then we started doing crazy stuff. So one day, my line brothers went to one of the people that's in charge houses, and they came back different. They were acting different towards me. I thought they were kind of honest. I thought they got either possessed or something happened in the house. But it was funny though, Rock, because God didn't allow me to go that night. I was supposed to go that night. God didn't allow me to go for some reason. Gotcha. And now I understand why. So that happened. So in the midst of all that happened, we even having a weekend. They called a Haji weekend because that weekend. So in the midst of that, things started getting dark and some stuff was said that I said that wasn't right. So I ended up being like, hold on, y'all, we've been online since March of 2023, and now y'all changing them. What's going on? So I ended up getting offline like a month before we about to go over. So I said, so my wife, she had been fasting for me because, she hadn't found out what I was doing. Was going through a situation. I was about to lose my family, my kids and everything. So there was a lot of red flags popping up. So when I said, I'm going to go on a fast. Now, I'm going to see what God want me to do. Because in my mind, I really hope that God say Freemasonry at the moment because I wasn't all the way out of it like I was supposed to be. But on the 7th day, God spoke, said, you're going to either want that family or my family. So at that moment, I said, I want your family, God. So immediately, man, I took all my stuff out my car, my clothes, my chains, my rings, my books, and just gave it away. And immediately, I felt a release come off on me. I felt like, God was ripping all the scales off me, all the demonic spirits, all the demonic things, and I started feeling lighter. And in that moment, I said, no, God, for God I live, for God I die. And that's how it happened. So,
yo, I like that. Yo, hey, man, listen, everybody got a story, right? And it's a journey. And sometimes on your way to your purpose, it's not always an easy road to get there. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, you're going to get bruised and battered and beaten up on your way to your purpose. But as long as you don't give up in the beating stage, then you can actually get to your purpose. Because like you said, now you have the ability to speak from both ends of it, right? Mm-hmm. Because a lot of the knowledge that you were being taught was knowledge that was hidden from us. Because you got to kind of think about it. The secret societies are not there because of the knowledge that they have is evil. It's just that the evil people have the knowledge. Mm-hmm. It's like anything, right? Like if any power that a person has can be used for either good or evil, depending on which way you want to swing the gauntlet, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not that these things are bad. It's just the way that people actually do them. Mm-hmm. So what they were teaching you was information that they keep from us because this is a part of our culture. But then again, we are misled by it because the people who are teaching us, they use it for the wrong thing. Yeah. But then we get caught up in the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. So that's why I feel like, you were blessed because you were able to get the knowledge. Now, because of it being the teacher of it, being used, using it the wrong way, it filtered that spirit down to y'all. Because, mm-hmm. Even in the Bible, even in the beginning, it says that, in the Elohim, that's plural. So, of course, there was more than one God. If not, then there wouldn't be no such thing as them saying, there's a God, there's a jealous God, and don't put no other gods before me. You know what I mean? I mean, there's proof that there are other gods. So while we may be thinking that, God is one thing, we know that there's a great what they called over there was the great architect, which is the great all. But we do know that there were people who were really highly advanced, who were reverenced as gods. Mm-hmm. doesn't technically mean that they were God the creator,
Mhm.
right? So then that's why I feel like with us, it's knowledge that we're not taught because the secret societies have divided it and
Mhm.
was able to pervert it in a way where that because of its being our energy, it can reflect in something evil and negative. When
Mhm.
in actuality, if the teacher of that information was on the other side, then it would be used. Because think about the Dalai Lama. Like, let's think about him for an example. Those same mysteries that they say that the Freemasons and all these other, they use, they part of the mystic system or the mystic arts come from over there. But
Mhm.
they're not using it for the same means that the people who got it over here or over there and all these other places, they use it for the evil portion. So we know that that information can be used for either good or evil depending on the person, right?
Mhm.
So it's good that you learned that. So let's talk about your transition from out of that, bringing it back into where you felt like God called you because divine intervention came in and that allowed you to go somewhere
Mhm.
that like the rest of your homies was. So then now, as you give all your stuff away, is there somebody you have to let know that you're no longer in the crew, or how does that work? You just quit and that's it. You don't get jumped out or nothing. Like how does
Nah, so what happened was first of all you let your lodge know and the lodge know let your worship master know. So that's another thing too, man. Like when I got out, so much stuff was different. Like we had a person who the head called a worshiper master. First of all,
right,
number one master, that's God. So we
right,
were representing him as God. So in the lodge, I let him know, and then let the members know. So then once I do that, I had to write a letter to our actual organization of the other Freemasons because different in Freemason we had different organizations. So I was in the United Nationals. They had different ones for different parts of the state. So North Carolina was United Nationals. So United Nationals took on maybe 12 different other states like Georgia, Arkansas, Maryland. And then some of them got different states in that organization. So it connected with different organizations for different states. Then
gotcha,
I emailed them a letter and told them the lodge number and all that kind of good stuff, and I told them, and of course it was like okay, it wasn't like nothing real bad, but in the midst of me doing that, I was thinking, someone would be cool with it, like okay, we understand, and a lot of them said, well, whenever God tell you, man, that's good, but after that, I heard nothing from nobody else. Nobody called me, nobody text me, none of that. And I told my wife, I said, they're not gonna do that because we established a friendship beyond masonry. So I thought, instead of just a brotherhood, we was friends. But kind of find out if you ain't a mason or a brother, they got to do with you. I don't care if you was a friend before, a friend in the midst of it, a friend there. Once you get out of the organization and not part of the brotherhood no more, they gotta deal with you.
right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, that goes for not only secret societies, but that go with family, that go with
Mm-hmm.
friends, that go with coworkers, that
Yeah.
go with all kinds of stuff. Once you don't do something for them or something that they want you to do, then
Mm-hmm.
finito for you. They out of here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Most people only do things based on a condition anyway. They love you
Mm-hmm.
only based on condition, which is a hard pill to swallow, but
Exactly.
nevertheless, it's a real one, right? You know.
Mm-hmm.
But even with all that, and you saying that, so was there any part of the knowledge that they told you that you're not into divulge or you're not to speak or whatever? Like you have to hold that information that you gain only within yourself or anyone that's connected, or is there anything like that that was given to you?
So none of them said nothing I couldn't say because again, you can go on Google and get all the degrees and all the information. You can Google first to third degree, fourth through 18, ninth to 32nd, and get all the degrees. So it wasn't that much a secret, but it only told you a sprinkle amount of what actually goes in the books. But it was basically a degree. So when I told God when I denounce it, I want to renounce it. I mean, I'm going to tell people because I want to help somebody else out. So I wasn't afraid. I'm not afraid to speak on it. What happened, what goes
Right,
on, what about because God got me covered. But they never told me like you can't say anything about it because actually they didn't say that to me at all. They didn't even speak to me. They were like, okay, you understand and this and that, and I said I deleted them on Facebook. I just got rid of the whole thing because I want to be attached to anything. Because if you once you get out of something or have something, one little thing can have you thinking about me. I should have done that, or I want to go back. So I didn't attach myself to all this stuff. Cause I don't want to have the mixed emotions or even have a bit of a sob of what I do this or what I do this or why I did that.
Yeah, I feel you. Cause you went cold turkey, huh? You was like, yo, I'm completely gone. I'm out of here. So, in your transition back to God, did you transition back into a religion, or did you just come back to God? Because we know that there's a difference. You know what I mean? Most people, um, a religion is more rules and doctrines versus God, right? We know that. That's universal. We know that, and I know a lot of people. That's why I say a lot of people don't like to talk religion because they want to argue, and it's like, no, you got to be honest. Like we understand what religion is. Religion is just that, but that has really nothing to do with God. You know what I mean? Whether a woman wears a dress or a pair of pants has nothing to do with her salvation. If that's the case, then why are we still allowing transgenderism then? Because that's a man or a woman completely acting like another person. If you're going to tell me that's okay, then you can't tell me that these rules that this woman is or she's breaking doesn't make her that. So that's not the thing. But where's your transition back to God? How did you do that? Did you attach yourself to another organization from leaving another one? Like, are you Baptist, Catholic? What's going on?
Yeah. So what I did, I'm always been a Christianity, but I'm non-denominational.
Okay.
I'm saying so. Believing speaking in tongues. I guess that's all my denomination. So what happened was I was thinking about it. I always been. I grew up in church, but I didn't get saved and really know God till I got older. Understand the true living God because back when I was younger, I seen people do stuff wrong in church and this. So I didn't understand the whole concept of going to church and doing bad and understand who God really was. So as I got older, God began to show me even more of who He was and the relationship we had and different kind of thing. All churches got something going on. No church is good. No church is bad. No church is all good. Just things happen.
Right.
But
Yeah.
so I ended up just going. I went back to know trusting God, building that relationship back with Him. So I
Gotcha.
really trusted who He was and really showing me through Him who I was, and that's when the process started happening.
Gotcha. So, the time frames are more recent. So, how long ago did you make the transition from Freemasonry back to Christianity?
Gotcha. So it was the craziest thing until the day me and my wife should talk about it. It was like God was waiting for me, man, to tell him yeah, because it went from Freemasonry to Christianity back to God, and quick from August to now, God just began to deal with me the whole time, and
Gotcha.
he had a plan for me in 2024, so he had to do all that happened, and then so I can transform him into who he was now in 2024. So it all been within maybe a 8 months thing. I went back and went on another 90-day fast in March. And then God began to burst some things in me, man, for the men and what to say and how to really understand who He was and what my purpose was in Him.
Yeah, you got a hell of a story, man. I think there's something about people who are willing to tell their story from a place that they don't have to worry about uh, just having to protect their image or something. More people would be interested in a story like this from someone famous. But what I'm saying to you, like, I really like your story a lot because, you started off as the average kid, but even dealing with like medical issues and things that were out of your control and the harshness of other children because growing up, the kids will talk about you bad, right? Other kids will talk about you terribly, and you either develop thick skin or you have learned how to, go back and forth with people to the point where you can talk about them as well. We called it hiking, cracking, whatever. You know, we Yeah, we did that in order to defend yourself because you can't really get mad or upset when somebody talking about you and it's
Yeah.
true. They say your sneakers busted and your sneakers really busted, you can't be mad. You gotta
Mm-hmm.
take that, right? But unless you talk about the fact that they sneakers might not be busted, but they feet stink, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta have this thing in you, right? Where that can help you maneuver through. But um the things that we cannot help,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like the size of your nose, the shape of your head, right?
Yeah.
The color of your skin. These
Yeah.
are things that you cannot help, and these are the things that people will talk about you the worst. And then next thing
Yes.
you know, you insecure about this, that, and the third. You got all
Yeah.
these things going on, and then boom, you like, yo, I want to overcome this insecurity. I need somebody who's gonna look at my head and be like, man, you might care about the shape of your head, yo, you cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, I bet, yo, I walk with this little lump in my head. I'm good.
Yeah.
Like now before. Or you get attention from a girl that other people couldn't get attention from and she don't care about the lump in your head. But they've been talking about your head
Mm-hmm.
since you were 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so now that causes it, but when you get that validation, it make you see. And but you know what? One thing about us, why I feel like it's important that we teach our young men about validation early, because that also creates stalkers
Mm-hmm.
in men.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they don't get validation, and when somebody finally does give them validation, when it kind of doesn't go that way no more, now they got to separate from the woman. Then they get violent. They want to stalk the girl because
Mm-hmm.
their version of love is she the only one that overlooked. Now I got to go find somebody else, and it took me all this time for me to find her or however it's looked at. So validation is really important. I think most people would learn from this episode right here about how important it is. But although your life journey and transition is one that is really real, because in the world of Freemasonry, a lot of people go to a really dark place,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? They don't make it back out. They jump
Yeah.
out there. They
Mm-hmm.
go into other things. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I don't want to talk about too much of it here on this live, because it does go really deep.
Oh,
And
that. Yeah.
I didn't ask you a lot of the questions that I feel like most people can research about, but Freemasonry is not a regular thing. It can get really deep and it can get really dark and it
Oh
can
yeah.
involve, yeah, a lot.
Yeah. I know. I was there. I was almost there.
You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of times people don't understand the duality of it, because there are pastors
Mm-hmm.
and preachers and evangelists who are that in your church and still a Freemason.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You understand? So there are things that people do that you wouldn't even really be thinking of. You like, what? There's people who practice Islam and are
Mm-hmm.
Freemasons. So let me just be honest with y'all. And like he said earlier, the symbol that's on the book, we're talking about the scale and compass, right? That's the emblem you were talking about. That's
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
book.
Yeah. Yeah. It's for a comment. Yeah.
All right. So if that was on the place of the Bible where the cross was, it's just think about the symbolism of that. Because a lot of people view the cross as a symbol of Jesus, but the cross is just something that they use at the time. It's actually a symbol of death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
use the cross for crucifixion. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't for decoration. It wasn't for a representation of. It's not the view of. It's no. It was used as a means no different than a guillotine, a noose, or any other means that you wanted to hurt or take care of, get rid of somebody. So it's a symbol of death, yo. So I don't understand, and we have allowed symbols or we see symbols and we don't, like right now, the swastika, right? That they said the Nazis used.
Mm-hmm.
But the original swastika or what the meaning of that symbol is has nothing to do with the way that the people took it and used it.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Right? It's an African symbol. To be honest with you, and when it comes down to it, and then like you said, you was able to learn hieroglyphs. Now think about that hieroglyph, Canadian writing, and all these other things. That's
Mm-hmm.
how they used to write.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So the knowledge of being able to decipher the people who are more advanced than we are now, that's a gift. But I understand how people use the gift for evil. We learned that, right? But we what I'm saying to you is that those people are way more advanced thousands of years ago than we are right now. So
Yeah. And that's what Freemasonry stands for. It's a system of morality veiled in allegory and symbols.
yeah.
So all it is just symbolism, symbolic of crucifixion, like the on the 18th degree. It's called it's a symbol of a pelican, and birds at the bottom pecking at his body with blood, and he got a symbol of a cross and moonshine on his face. Basically, they said it's a crucifixion of Jesus because he's shedding his blood for the people. But it's a
Right.
pelican with 8 ducks, 7 ducks under him pecking at his body and blood coming out. So they have it twisted of talking about a crucifixion of Jesus, but that's not how Jesus. That didn't happen. He didn't have no pelicans, and he had a pelican. A pelican. It was a mother and a pelican baby shit pecking at his body with blood shedding, and he have a symbol of an ark under him and the moonshine saying this crucifixion of Jesus Christ because the 18th degree is the Knights of the Rose of Croix, and Rose of Croix is talking about Jesus.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Pelicans, what they represent as a well, you know what? Yeah, because that don't even go. Well, you know what, yo, you just broke some things down. Because, like I said, for those people who are not in Freemasonry, wouldn't see this imagery that you just broke down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying it's not Googleable, but I mean, learning about what Freemasonry is doesn't actually give you the details of what these degrees are for you to learn about it. So, me learning about Freemasonry didn't give me the opportunity to learn about the different sets of what degrees and imagery that come along with it. So, yeah, that means a lot because the pelican bird itself, like, it don't, yeah, that's weird. But like you said, whatever the signs was that you didn't pay attention to, God still allowed you to be able to come out. So I want to be like, yo, that is one of the things that I think a lot of people uh, don't get, like the sign from God, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if it ain't flashing, like Vegas, they don't think that is from God. But for you, it was more so like, yo, either I want my family or I want that family. And I think, you had to make a choice, and that choice allowed you to save your life. And so, how did you, before we get out of here, I want you to tell us a little bit, though. Like, you said it saved your family life, too, in your description.
Mm-hmm.
So, break that down real quick.
So, yeah, and in the midst of me being in Freemasonry, I end up committing adultery on my wife, dealing with infidelity. It wasn't nothing real physical, sexual, but it was more of a connection of, the enemy is so slick. He had it where, it was like, we shared the same interest, and she was man, I was man. So at the time, I was thinking, they was doing it, and it was a seed planted into me that I heard, but I wasn't even on that level or even trying to go that way. But
Right.
because it was planted in my body, it began to harvest, and I've been around the other ones doing it. It began to. I started getting that curiosity. I said, but what happened was, I ended up, man, getting into deep with that, and it caused I said my wife, found out about it, and at the time I was so engulfed in the word that I wasn't spending time with my kids. All the time I was in the word. I was always never home at the lodge meetings. We had community service, had different events. So I was like, my family was the background, and Masonry was the forefront.
Gotcha.
So it was like, I wasn't there. So, but like I said, thanks be to God. Once everything, stopped, me and my wife went to marriage counseling now, and now we in the process where we've been restored. God is healing us, and I got my time with my kids because they told me, they said, Dad, you weren't even here. I was right in the house, but they said you wasn't even here. Now you spend so much time. My son was like, man, you always gone. No, every time my wife, dad would call, I was always gone. Every time, even my daughter, her birthday, I got initiated on her birthday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I took her out that morning, but I was so wanting to make sure I get there and do this that I defeated my daughter and just went with them to get initiated for my 4th through 18. So all that transpired, and it was to the point where I almost lost everything. If I became a shrine, a noble, I probably lost everything. I probably lost my family, my kids, and everything because at that point I've been in too deep. With the knowledge, with the people, situation. So, because the higher the higher the level, the higher the devil. That's true. That's true. Because you get so intrigued and not wanting more knowledge, wanting more light that you keep on going, and your goal is to get to the 33rd, and that's when you get deep. That's when Lucifer come out. You talk to him, you get deep. So that's where that's everybody go. But my whole thing was like, once I found all this out, my thing was, do they know? And if they know, they're just in a complacent mindset where I don't care no more. I'm here, I'm good, and that's it. And I'm pretty sure a lot of them got to know this. I'm not the only. As I came out and announced it, I'm pretty sure the ones in there now still know, but their mindset of, oh, I'm a brotherhood, and then they be like, yeah, man, when this happened, but they came and took care of me, or they were there for me, Okay, that's cool, but we can be there for you without being an organization. You got to be in a brotherhood, but it's so demonic, and people's eyes are so blinded by the fact of and they already trying to quote scriptures in the middle of it and say this and they say that. Our scripture is coming from First Kings, and our main scripture is Psalms 133. Behold, how good and pleasant for brothers and dwell together in unity. And that's all well and good, man. It's not unified if you're going against each other, and lies is lies. There's so much stuff. So once you get in and really see what's for, if you don't get out, you're gonna be in trouble because your mindset now is, I'm in here, so whatever happens.
Yeah, that's touching, man. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that you got that off because I know you said it a little bit earlier, and you didn't really go into detail when you were talking about the Eastern Stars and how they affected well, not they, but the fact that is the female section of Freemasonry, and because y'all do so many things together, that's what kind of railed you off of the way of your family because the fact that you had now, see, here's where I'm glad that you came back around because you pretty much had a lot of things before you went in that most people don't have, and that was already a family. You know what I mean? Because you already had that, so your validation, you still obviously it would have been better. Well, I guess now if you think about it, counseling would have probably did better for you than it would be still chasing that whole validation thing because you got married, which in most people's eyes, they feel like once they find the person, well, especially for men, because we hold the gateway to marriage, women hold the gateway to sex. So for us to pick somebody to say, hey, this is who we want to commit to, I'm figuring they would give you everything you need to give that kind of, you know what I mean? They give you the validation, they give you the support, they give you the the verbal and nonverbal gestures to help you get by. So, the fact that you still went on and still was going through the whole kidding you, that was still looking for that validation. Right? The kid in you that never made it to the HBCU, the kid in you that didn't go all the way in the game, the kid in you that didn't do, certain things, but when you as an adult, you still was seeking that whole brotherhood, that validation type of scenario based on how that happened, and then boom. Now you're back in a situation where now you can teach a whole nother brotherhood, right? Because brothers can actually come straight to you now as a person who is not only knowledgeable, regardless of what God have taken away. It can always be recalled if you needed it.
Yeah, right? I said no a whole lot of
Yeah. And so at some point, people probably are going to be sent directly to you for the transition to get back through. And I think that's going to be crazy because, like I said, not in a bad way. I mean, crazy in an amazing way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for your purpose. Because think about it. Like you said, once they get to a certain place, it gets dark.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, it get dark, and when I got out of it, I did more research, and it's so many demonic other pieces in it that I didn't realize, on down to wearing the apron, to wearing the collar, to in the initiation process, going around 3 times, and it was just so much. Even with our 4 through 18, we representing Jesus, and we kneeling down the candles. So it's so much that I thought it was cool because I'm about to be in a new house. So it's different houses: the blue house, red house, and the black house. So I was at all the houses. So being in that, you feel like somebody. You feel like well, I got this. I'm good. I know this. I know that. I was reading the books. I know the knowledge. I knew the history behind it. I knew the origin. I knew the time frame and all that kind of good stuff, the British and all kind of stuff. But it once I got of it, it didn't make no sense because everything it really is allegory and symbols. So none of it pertains to the Bible. And I was reading the word like maybe about 3 months ago, and I saw something that they said that was in the Bible. I said, "Yo, this what this really mean, not what they were saying."
Right.
And then it brought me like God. I was engulfed in something that made no sense, all because I wanted validation, but something that wasn't benefiting me. And that's a lot of times too. Men out here, man, we get so caught up in the facade of what it looked like or how it sounded, what people say, that we don't do our research first. And because we want to be a part of something and be in that zone of fitting in or being in crowd or being known out there in the world, we jump into anything.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I think that's where it come from, us having a means of being able to have an influence that doesn't require us to always have to react in our emotions so
Yeah.
much to speak. For men, to prove sometimes just to prove that you're a man, you have to react in anger, like
Yep.
in order to show your aggression and to show that part of you in order for you to get that. But then, like you said, you just sometimes we make bad decisions or good decisions just based on wanting to be accepted or not.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like just from somebody being able to be like, yo, nah, you good over here with us.
Mm-hmm.
Our family structures are all different. We all grow up differently. And like I said, there were people who grew up with their mother and father, and they still jumped out there in the streets. And then there was those who grew up in a single family household where either their mother or father, or not even that, foster parents, and they were able to excel. So sometimes it's just the choices that we make, right? But even you, like you said, as an adult, and you were already married, you were still chasing the same validation that you were looking for as a kid. And I think we all normalize trauma some type of way. We go through traumatic situations and it still affects us as adults. As much as we say that we're over it, a lot of times we're not over it. We just learn how to deal with it. But we don't really deal with it. We just learn how to live with it, right? Like it's a part of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but look, go ahead. What you was gonna say?
And that was me, man. I thought I dealt with it to the point it was over with, but when I got into it, one of my ex friends' brother, he pointed it out, and my wife pointed it out. Like, man, I'm good, but I said I didn't deal with it. That's a lot of time, though. Men, though, we don't deal with certain situations. We don't go seek help or seek therapy because we think we can handle it ourselves, and that's not true. And we got to go out there, man, and ask for help and seek help. Because I didn't go to a therapist, I didn't go to a psychiatrist, but internally inside, I was dealing with it hard. No, I still want to fit in at 38 years old, 39 years old. I still want to be able to fit in with something. Even though I had my wife and kids, I still was feeling a void of a brotherhood or something that will actually count me into something else.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the dilemmas of being a man, right? Because although God designed each and every man, to be the head of whatever, they are, supposed to be the head of household, family. You're supposed to be that, but then you still need that brotherhood, you know what I mean, to be able to build still sharpen steel, right? So you need that, right? Because when you are around other brothers that are doing things more than you and give you that energy, it also puts you in the right mindset and it gives you the right frequency to be on. Because we all know, when it comes down to actually being a person that has to provide and lead for other people, sometimes the partners that we pick are not people who are followers. A lot of women are not being raised to follow. You know, a lot of women are being raised to be independent. They're being raised to be a man, like to think like a man, so to speak. You know, the old Steve Harvey jump off, right? So, you know, nowadays finding a partner that would be, you know, beneficial to you as much as you are to them, it's not necessarily like that. You know, for men, you know, if you ain't providing some type of service of something, then there's no value to you. And we hear this each and every day. You know, there's a lot of platforms. That's all they talk about, bro. Like either you paying the bills, like they still arguing over when people say something about 50-50, like splitting the bill. And to me, it's like, damn, though, like, so nobody wants the other person to have just as much as them? Like, that's weird. Right?
Yeah.
Weird. Like, it's weird. Like, that's even an argument. Like, how people pay bills. Like, why wouldn't why would an adult be sitting around with money and don't want to contribute? I don't get it. Like I get the fact that what they say men were supposed to do based on tradition, but even that was whack because grandma ain't no. You know, after grandpa died, I said this on the podcast before. After grandpa died, grandma had to go get uncle somebody because
exactly.
Even with me.
Yeah, even with me, I should tell my wife don't work, but my wife, she wanted to work. She wanted to help out. She didn't want me to do everything. She's like, you don't gotta get 2 or 3 jobs. I want to help. So you know I'm saying in the midst of like, I'm a man, I got this. But in her hand, she wanted to work, she wanted to help out, she wanted to help pay bills, she wanted to do certain stuff. So and that's for the men, the men in society feel short that men do everything. Nah, it's women out there want to do things with you. They want their 50-50. You know what I'm saying? They won't. When I had a job, my wife will take care of the bills. When I had a job, take care of the bills. But now we be together. We both doing it together. That's how it works. You know, and sometimes men want that masculinity role, but they gotta understand God made a woman to be a helpmate, meant to help us, you know, in our dreams, in our perseverance, in the housing and in bills and stuff like that. And that's how it's supposed to be.
I mean, facts, but you know, you can't really express that as a man without people calling you like a beta or a set because you know you got to think about it. When a person says, "Yo, listen, I have a goal that I'm trying to reach. This is where we are right now. I need your help with this." You know, it's almost like, okay, but you know, you're supposed to do this though. But then, you know, if you kind of think about it, that means that it's going to take more time away from the family if I got to do this because one job may not be enough. That means I'm going to have 2. So that means in my preparation in 2, that's going to be less hours that I have to be home. And if there's children involved, that's less hours that time I got with them and you. You know what I mean? When you are the person that will be stationary all day. So I think that when most people don't look at it, like whenever a man is one of the men that say, "Yo, I'll go out there and get it all," like if you want him around more, then you can help free up some of that time by freeing up some of the responsibility. But it's up to you and what you want. Most women, some women marry a dude knowing that he about to deploy. I don't get that.
I heard it before too. Yeah.
Right? Like, why? Like, yo, y'all have the relationship, do whatever y'all do. I mean, but why would you do that? And then he come back and it's a baby, and he ain't been here in 3 years, but the baby too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like the choices that we decide to make. So look, I'm glad you came on, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm glad that you reached out. Well, you put that out there. You threw the flare up saying you wanted to talk about this because it was really dope. I think that we're gonna have to have another show with you and another. Well, we gotta be able to have it where you know we can have a show just about the history of Freemasonry and all the things that come on about it because. Right now, we wanted to just really talk about your life and the transition in between. But as far as Freemasonry itself, because there are men, like you said, still seeking validation. They're falling up in there every chance they get.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And then, you know, it's other places that men are falling up in because they don't. So hopefully we can get this message out to people to help them in that transitional stage while they looking. For that validation of looking to be accepted, you know, just learn how to accept yourself. It's so I know it's corny, right? It's because that's what people say. Like, learn how to be by yourself. You know, learn. You don't always have to be around people and shit. And then you be thinking to yourself, like, damn, I don't want to do that, yo. Right? I like having attention or company or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like I should be forced. But some people say, hey, in life, you need to learn to be okay with being by yourself. So that way you don't just be jumping from person to person. And it's true. At least I can say that. Yeah. All right, bro. So before we get out of here, I want you to let everybody know how they can find you, how they can reach out to you if they got any more questions on, Freemasonry and or just more about your story and how to change over.
Yeah, so you can reach me on all social media on Facebook, Arthur Mitchell, Instagram at ArtSpeaks82. Find me on LinkedIn at Arthur Mitchell. Also, you can email me at Mr. email site at MrIamChampion.com. It's MREYE champion.com. I'm sorry, hold on. MREYEAM champion.com. MrIamChampion.com.
All right, bet. So look, y'all make sure y'all reach out to the brother Art, man. Y'all reach out to him if you got any questions about it. If you've been on the fence or if you somebody that's actually researching and wanting to get in it, talk to the brother that got all the way up to the degree that was right before the highest, and then he can give you some insight. And then at least if you decide to go one way or the other, at least you did your research, right? And you're able to do that, right? So y'all make sure y'all shout him out and y'all look out for him. As far as me, y'all know what to do, man. Y'all follow us each and every week. We go live. We talk to some of the world's most interesting people. Next week, we got a psychic and a tarot reader on, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about that because spirituality is important. Y'all know I've been on the quest of helping impact the families. We had a whole bunch of families in here who people who have been unalived or affected by police brutality, mainly police brutality or police negligence. And it's a lot of people whose names I haven't even had a chance to talk to yet. People that's not famous, but y'all know on the platform we have talked to a lot of people. And I want you guys that are watching to always pay attention because it can definitely be you. So do not wait until you're pushed to the brink of where something happens to you before you get involved. Because I promise you, if it does, you're going to want some people to help rally behind you. So make sure that if y'all see any of the posts and things that I put up that has impacted families, or search the hashtag impacted families on Facebook, on X, on Instagram, on Fanbase. You guys click that and you'll get information and you'll see families and different people. You can reach out to them. Just send them a couple of emojis, the praying hands, or whatever you can do to let them know that you're thinking about them and help spread the word so we can get them some justice. Because a lot of these parents are still seeking justice, and it's been years since their children have been unalived. And we talking about children too have been unalived. And also we got Elaine Simmons coming back on now. Simon's coming back on in a couple of weeks. They actually won the case against the police that actually killed her son. So they actually got a conviction. It's not been many. This has been maybe the second conviction that we got in the nation involving the fact that, police are being held accountable for unaliving people, unarmed people, just because they feel like they can. So it's on its trajectory. So she's going to be back on. We're going to do a follow-up show where she's going to break it down, everything that happened with the case and how things were able to turn around. So I want y'all to make sure y'all keep it locked. Y'all follow me and keep it going. I want y'all to get this information because, like I said, you just never know when something may happen to you. So double salute to all of y'all that watched tonight. Double salute to you, Art. We're going to get you back on at a later date so we can just talk masonry, and that's it.
Yes,
right? We're going to get a couple of other people on to join you with the show. Hopefully we can get somebody that was in Eastern Stars. Maybe not no more. Let's get them on and let's just come kind of have a conversation about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll do that. So I'm going to stay in contact with you too. So, all right, y'all. Until next week, y'all remember, man, I am your boy, Ra1. This is Sparking Conversation. And if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. So until next week, peace.